Welcome in. You are speaking to the Meeple's champion, and today we're going to be going over another new game. The game is called Kemet, Blood and Sand. Now, this is a game I've managed to play 2 times in the past 6 weeks. It's a game that a friend of mine owns who's really excited to finally get at the table. I played it 3-player both times, which means we're only using half the board. The concept of the game is that you're going to start with 3 spots that are essentially your little kingdom. You can choose to either put the base of 3 different pyramids in, or the base of one and the base in the second piece of another. You're going to name the color of the pyramid you're using. Now, in this game, they come with 4 different colors for the temples that you're using. Red, blue, white, and black. We made the decision in the first game to randomly choose, which meant we got red, white, and blue. And in the second game, which was a month later, we chose to use the same colors again because we're still learning the game. We didn't want to confuse ourselves by switching up and using the different color. Now, each of these colors will specialize in something. And once you've picked, you will then start basically saying, all right, you've put out your temples. You go from first player to second to third. And then starting at third, any temple you made, meaning if you've made the base of 3 different colors, all of them are open. If you made the base of one and 2 pieces of another, only 2 temples are open. You can pick one of those colors, level 1 pieces, to add to your area. So you go in, you grab one of these. Now the ones usually have 2 different abilities that are repeated twice. So you snag one, and now you have an ability for the game. To get more abilities is part of your actions. So then, once everybody's picked their ability to start, the way the game works is very simple. You're going to have 5 different little, essentially almost like worker placements in a way, but they're just these little tokens that you're going to place onto your pyramid on the outside. You have actions all around the pyramid. Anything that you've already built for a color means that you can go there to buy an additional piece. So as long as you have the base, you can buy a level 1. If you've made the second piece of it, you can go to the level 2. The third piece, a level 3. The fourth piece, a level 4. They're obviously more and more expensive, and you're going to have to find a way to be able to get these, to make sure that you're not using all of your spend, because if you do, you can't do other actions. Now, you have that option, but then you also, above these, have the options of you can recruit. Recruit means that you're going to be able to add people into your pyramid, as many as you want, but it will cost you 1 for every person you're putting out there. You will be able to move. So you pick an area and you take everybody and you can move them a spot. And depending on what you have, potentially more than 1 spot. You're going to be able to add more for what you can spend. Now, when this game starts, you get 2 for the 2 spots that are there. However, one of the base areas, the white, comes with the ability to make it so whenever you do these, you have a +1. So for instance, when I chose to go in the other game, I chose that as my special ability off the bat. So for the rest of the game, every time I used those 2 spots, I was getting 3 instead of 2. My spend was at a much better motion. And then there's also the option to build your pyramids. If you do this, the interesting part is that you can choose any of the pyramid colors you want. But wherever you build, you can only build that one pyramid. It'll cost you the level you're building to, and you can build as high as you want. Meaning, if you've already got the base of one and you want to just build the next spot up, it's the second piece, it'll cost you 2. But if you want to build the second and the third, it'll cost you 2, it'll cost you 3, that's 5 total. If you want to do the second, the third, and the top, the 4, 2, 3, 4, cost you 9. So potentially you could build one from nothing and pay 10 and just get a pyramid immediately. And when you do that, you get a piece representing that you completed one of your pyramids, which is a temporary point. So then, how do you win the game? You win the game by being the first person to achieve 9 points and start your turn with those 9 points. Meaning, I could achieve 9 points on my turn, but I don't win until my next turn starts and I still have 9 and I'm still in the lead. I'm not in a tie. So how do you get the points? Well, everybody's going to be doing these actions. You get 5. You have to spread them out evenly, meaning you have 3 levels of your pyramid. You have to have at least 1 action in each level. There's 2 on the top, 3 in the middle, 4 on the bottom. You have to have at least 1 of your 5 actions in each level. Outside of that, to get points there are 3 different temples on the board. If you end your turn with a temple, some of them will just give you a point. Others will say, well, you own this. Now, if you, for instance, sacrifice 2 people, you get a point. Also, if you own at least 2 of them, you get a permanent point. So, the 3 temples I'm speaking of, the 2 that give you a point, those points are temporary points. You get the point for owning it, that's all it is. That point is circular. The other one says you don't get anything for owning this, but you have the option to sacrifice 2 people right now if they're on the spot, and those 2 people will pay you a permanent square point. And then you also, if you own at least 2 of these 3 spots, will be given a square point as a permanent point for having owned 2 pyramids or temples. So these are the basic ways. You also can get points by completing your own pyramids as well as winning battle. And when I say winning battle, that means you attack. As the attacker, you win. As the defender, unless you get a special power that pays it out, you do not get a point for winning a battle. You just get to have more additional bonus scoring type things that you can use for spending it on getting more troops or having more spend for the next round. So you're going to keep doing this until eventually somebody has surpassed the 9 mark and is still past that mark and still by themselves in the lead when their next turn starts. That's the basics, which sounds basic, but it was actually quite a lot. But why don't we jump in? Let's talk our 7 categories and see where we really rank this game. When it comes to the art, the box is really nice. I think it sets the stand of this is a desert theme, pyramid theme, almost kind of like down the Nile theme. And I think that the board continues that. The cards do an okay job. I don't think they're massively artistic, but they do a good job of following the theme. And your miniatures are fantastic. For me, it's really good art. Thumbs up. Your components. They fit the art, but they're still great on their own. The miniatures are fantastic in this game. Being able to go and get all of these additional people that get to join your armies and don't count towards the unit count, as you normally have a limit of 5 that can be on a space, but not with the minis that can be added to them. And I think that's a really cool concept. I like those. The cards are good. The temples are nice. I like the way you're building up temples on the board. I really like the components here. Thumbs up. Your price. The game's not cheap. Maybe you're going to be one of those lucky people who can find it for the $60 value, but realistically, I think this game's going to fall more in that closer to 80. When it first came out, definitely closer to 80. Maybe today this is kind of fallen more towards 70, 60, but that's your range. 60 best case, 80 worst case. That's your range here with this game. This is one I really wanted to try for years, but I wouldn't pay for it. Finally, a friend got it. Now I say years. Kemet is an older game, but Kemet Blood and Sand came out in 2021, so obviously this one's only a couple years old, but the same concept. It's a great game. It is a little expensive, but it's available, and you're getting a game that to me is worth its price if you have people who want to keep playing it. We've already enjoyed 2 games of it in a 6-week span, which for our group, that's not a norm. Wouldn't be shocked if we pull this one back out again within the next month. So I think this is one that is worth its value. Thumbs up. Your difficulty. A lot of games, I think, are on paper. When you watch a playthrough, when you're looking at a list discussing what's in the game, it feels scary. You're a little bit standoffish. I know I'll look at a game and get a little bit overwhelmed and go, that looks like a hard one to learn. But at the end of the day, it's not as bad as you think. The difficulty of this game is not that difficult. The first game, I got beat up. But my second game, I made 1 mistake. With that exception, I really would have taken the game. I came in second. I almost won the game. I lost on the last turn, and it was really because of a mid-game mistake, and I now know better, and the next time I think I'll be able to compete even better. I think this is a game that you can choose so many different avenues, whether you want to work on building up all the abilities for your people, build up trying to get more points by building your pyramids, or trying to snag special spots that have the points, trying to go after just owning spots on the board for points, or fighting people. Do you want to be a defender, an attacker? How are you going to build your special abilities around what you're after? This is a great game of opportunity, but it doesn't feel individually that hard. You don't have to do everything. You only have to do so much of it, and because of that, It's difficult enough if you want. If you want to challenge yourself, you can, but it's not too difficult. You can enjoy this game. It's got to be a thumbs up. Your replayability. I've already played this game twice in a 6-week span. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 3 times in a 10-week span. It's a game that has replayability. It has the ability to go back in and take a totally different approach so that if you want to, you can play it and feel like you're playing a totally different game. This is definitely one of those games that, for my board game group, I can see it getting to the table a lot. Maybe not for families, but for your gamer group, this can get back out. Thumbs up. Your keys to victory. So what is your choice? Are you after the temples? Are you trying to go after specific setups to allow it so that you can have a really customized way of playing the game? For instance, when I was playing in my second game, I became extremely competitive. People were shocked because I don't normally come out as one of the lead people in a game, somebody to be worried about. But they realized I had been working hard in this game to get special abilities, and when I was in battles, normally you count up how many people are on each side. That's your first count. If you have special people, you see what their abilities are. You can play cards, so you get one card you can play that's going to affect what you're getting for your attack. It can help to defend, and it can help when it comes to bleeding, which means if I defeat you 5-4, your people just retreat. But if I defeat you 5-4 and I have 2 blood, 2 of your people have to die. If you have a shield, it stops one of the blood. But if I have a black blood, it's an undefendable. Well, I got to the point where when I was attacking, I had a +3 attack, I had 2 bleed, and I had 1 undefendable bleed. So I was just wiping people off the board whenever I attacked. I had worked to build up a grouping of cards that really became a scary situation because I had 2 cards that were helping in every battle, and then I had 2 leaders, one with each group of 5 that they were partnered with that were giving bonus abilities. So I was going in with a leader, his abilities, and 2 extra bonus attack abilities, and I was just crushing around the board. I was the lead attacker. It was definitely, when it came to those keys to victory, it was opening up a key for me that the others didn't have. My ability to attack became extremely unique, and they were scared of me because even if I didn't attack and they attacked me, my bleed abilities defended as well, meaning I wouldn't get my +3 attack if I was defending, but I would still get 2 bleed and 1 undefendable bleed. So it became scary to even attack me because you knew if you were the one to do it, you were probably sacrificing most or all of the people going in to try to stop me. It is a really great game for those possibilities. So I have to say, thumbs up. Is the game unique? You know, I wouldn't have thought initially. I would have looked at this and I would have thought, no, this is another game that comes with miniatures, that's a little bit of fighting on a map. You know, I've seen games like this with Game of Thrones. I've seen games like this as like a newer version of what Risk was back in the day. But I think getting those abilities, and I think building up those temples, I think that those special spots on the board that you're fighting over that are changing the payouts every round, and the fact that you're going for a specific number and you have to hold it for a whole round, this is extremely unique. I haven't played a game quite like this, and I'm really impressed at the game that I ended up seeing. It's one that I would own if it wasn't for the fact that I don't think my family would play. But I think that for my gamer group, it's a fantastic choice, and since somebody already has it, I won't get it, but it is unique enough that it deserves to be in a collection. Thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? I'm really excited I got to play this game. I hope I continue to get to play this one, as last year was all about trying to get as many of these reviews out for you guys as I could, and I was playing a new game on a regular basis. This year, only putting out 1 review a week and then doing 1 expansion review a week allows me to kind of take a little bit back, enjoy myself, and really enjoy the games I want to play. So a game like Kemet is one that I might be able to get to the end of this year and have played this game 6 or 7 times. I hope that that's the case with a bunch of the games this year. I finally got to play my Moonrakers game. It went over really well. I'm expecting to play that again. I've already gotten to play Wonderland's War this year. I'm expecting to pull that out multiple more times. There's a group of games that are on my list of must replay a bunch. Not get it in once or twice, try to play these games at least 5 times. So I'm hoping this year is the year of quantity of plays and not a load of different games. I really want to play the games I like, focus in, and get a lot of plays of those specific games. Well, we have been speaking about the game Kemet, Blood and Sand, and you've been speaking to the Meeple's champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.